Hi guys, welcome to another Kamikaze creation video. It's been a while, and I started a series on the 202 build quite a while back, and with COVID and trouble getting parts and things, she's been a fairly long process. But I just thought I'd do an update and run you through a few of the things I've done and parts I've bought and decisions I've made and directions I've changed over the process and time of that build. And I've picked up some really great parts, and it's starting to come together. That's why I just thought I'd do a bit of an update on that engine build, and I'll show you a few of the parts that I've bought. Again, I've started this YouTube channel for my own interest's sake. I have been employed in the area of education, and one of my passions is multimedia and videos. And this channel was started sort of through a bit of a challenge, and it's worked out pretty good. Just cracked over the 1,000 subscribers the other day. Still got to get my view rate up a little bit, but that's awesome, and thank you to everyone out there that's been watching these videos. So, as you know, with this 202, I started off with the 202 red block. It was the original engine in the car when I bought it, but not the original engine to the car. If you've been following me, the 173 in it is the original engine, and I built that bottom end after a lot of years of not building motors, and it was a 173, pretty much stock bottom end. Lineaged the crank, new bearings, original rods, original con rods, basic pistons, but then, as you'll know if you've been following me, I bought that Shane Barnett Performance supercharger kit, and that was the whole purpose of building that bottom end. And in talking to Shane originally, he said the kit will work quite well on a pretty stock bottom end. And if you saw the last couple of videos, you would have noticed I had a tick in the engine that I was chasing for a long time. I had that one good run that I showed you, and that tick in the motor, and to me it wasn't a knock, it was a tick. And as you will see, I pulled out that worn out hydraulic lifter, and there's been heaps of that out on the net. Everywhere I look now, and talking to my engine builder, it's coming up everywhere. It seems to be that these lifters are coming out of one specific area. A lot of manufacturers, resellers are buying them, and the same result in every motor. We're burning out those hydraulic lifters and destroying them. And that's why I have made the change to the roller cam. So I bought that roller cam, and with it the Crowler link bar lifters, to get rid of that problem and increase the performance of the engine. It's been a great adventure doing that. It was Ray Simpson that put me onto Shore Cam. Now Shore Cam, Phil down there, he's in his 70s. He's been building cams his whole life, and I just gave him the specs, told him what I wanted, told him what the engine was, and he designed and built the cam for this motor. And suggested, based on me getting that cam, suggested I talk to Performance Warehouse up there, I think it's in Slacks Creek in Brisbane, and buying those Crowler, I think they are, lifters. They're a hydraulic set of link bar lifters with a roller on them to match the roller cam. And it's a billet steel roller cam that Phil supplied to me. And I put the specs up there for you to have a look at and check it out. I also bought the Swan Racing timing cover. Now, I had a few comments and seen some stuff out there about how expensive they are, and yeah, they're a little bit of coin. But the thing that I liked about that cover, one, it's billet aluminium, looks good. But secondly, it's got that support bearing mounted into the front of the cover, and because I'm running the blower, I'm putting a lot extra force on that front bearing in the motor, pulling up onto the supercharger. It may not be huge, but to me that makes good sense. And I saw Swanee's engine covers, timing covers years ago, and did chat with him about it, but then forgot about him, and then it popped up just in the right time, and I nabbed one of those. The crank that I'm using is a blue counterweight crank. Even though it's a red motor, it takes the carbon seal, not the neoprene seal. And I've had that crank balanced along with all of the rolling stock. I bought the Ross racing pistons and H-bar rods, H-beam rods, way back. Bought them way back, and a new set of bearings will be going in with those. I think they're a Durace bearing, and bought the full gasket kit for that as well. But the crank, and I bought a Yellow Terra flywheel. It is slightly lightened, billet steel flywheel, and I originally bought the ProMac balancer, but because I bought Swanee's engine cover, I now am running the suggested balancer for that, which meant that I've had to put another keyway in the crank and drill the end of the crank out to clamp that harmonic balancer to the crank and just keep everything solid. So that's been a bit of a challenge to my engine builder. So basically all the rolling stock throughout the motor is balanced to the motor, which should help with any vibration in the motor. I've got those Crower link bar lifters and the roller cam off Phil at Shore Cam. Altogether, it should add it up pretty well. I'm looking at, and before I get there, the head has been done down at the engine builder at the moment. We do have to get a specific spring to match that cam and the lift on that cam. I think it's got 55 thou of lift at peak, and it's been built for about 5,500 max revs. Like, that's the supercharger kit, the blower on there with the fuel injection. This is an incredibly torquey motor. And you know, look at me, I'm not a young bloke. I'm not going to be out there spinning wheels and drag racing it. Sure, I'm going to have a little bit of fun in it, but I like that 0 to 100 acceleration. That's what this thing's been built for. It should pull like anything. So that's my motor that I'm building, and really stoked with the support you guys give me out there, and girls. Part of the reason with doing these videos is putting it out there, and I get a lot of feedback. I really love the encouragement and the feedback and the suggestion, and as you can see, a few people that have made good suggestions, I've taken them on, and that's how I've learnt new generation stuff, because this is a pretty new gen type motor in an old cast iron block. And I've had said to me by many people, anyone can throw an LS1 in there. That's not that hard. But building one of these old cast iron red 6 cylinders to go hard, they're pretty damn unique. So that's the motor that I'm building. I hope to take you down to the workshop soon. My engine builder is very, very close. I only received the cam the other day, made a mad dash down to Port Macquarie from where I am. Got there sort of 3 days before they went into lockdown, and got back home, which was awesome. Did a 1,000k round trip to pick up that cam. Well worthwhile, and really great to meet Phil. Works out of his house, his backyard. Used to have a business, I think, Shore Cam up in Brisbane. So it was great to meet him, pick up that cam, and the cam was the key for the engine builder to go together. The one thing that I'm still chasing, and Phil's going to help me out with that, is the right spring. He talked about, I think it was called a beehive spring. You'll see it on the specs. If you read through the specs that I put up there earlier, you'll see it says on there a beehive spring, but I have a install height on my head for the rockers and the spring seat position of, I think it's think it's about 1.650, 1 inch 650 thou, and those beehives I think I need 1 inch 800 thou. So I'm now just doing some research, trying to get the perfect spring, because it really has to be the right spring so those lifters don't bounce on the cam. Got to get the right downward pressure on them, and get them to perform well with that cam and the head and the flow. One side note to going for that roller cam that Phil let me know, and I did some reading online, because of the design of the cam with the rollers instead of the flat tappet, you get about 30% more airflow, and already that 12-port yellow terra head is giving me massive, or good airflow. You know, it's not as good as the Dugan heads and the JZ heads and the like, but it's pretty good flow out of the yellow terra head, the aluminium yellow terra head. But with that cam, it increases the flow rate by about 30%. So it should be good. Should be interesting to see this thing go together. My plan really is to build it on a stand and get it running this time. So you'll see a bit of that process. Going to build myself an engine stand and build the motor up and sit it all on and get it running out of the car, and then look at getting it back in. But she's a bit of a process. Thank you guys so much for your patronage and your subscription. And I know a lot of people out there that watch these videos probably aren't subscribed. Do it for me if you like. I'm not really in there for the subscriptions or even the monetization, which will happen very soon. It's only very small at my level, but it's been an exciting journey to get up to 1,000 subscribers on KamicarzCreations. My wife gave me this recently as a present, made me a personalised t-shirt. Pretty happy with that. I've been Kamikaze online forever, and this is just a new gen of Kamikaze Creation Garage. Thanks so much, guys.